Should you switch to Linux? Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to browse the internet, and if you want to play video games that doesn't require anti-cheat, um, not all of them. There are some games that needs anti-cheat that are supported on Linux, except for GTA 5, which like recently Rockstar Games decided to uh, block Linux users at least from playing GTA 5 in online mode, except for the roleplay servers. You can still play the on the roleplay servers without anti-cheat, but you will need anti-cheat for like other modes, I think. But can you switch to Linux? Should you switch to Linux? What? It depends. It really depends. Are you uh, are you a person that uses Adobe products? No. You shouldn't switch to Linux. You should not switch to Linux. But are you a person that uses Adobe product on a computer, specifically on a computer that has Windows installed specifically to use Adobe products? Well, kind of like like you can have a separated like laptop or PC to use Adobe products, and then you can have your personal computer in which you can run Linux. Of course, is gaming 100% your number one priority? Well, it depends of what video games you play. Do you play a lot of online games that requires kernel level anti-cheat, and like Valorant, GTA 5, Rainbow Six Siege, and things like that? Well, definitely not. You should not switch to Linux. Are you a person that it's perfectly fine dual booting? Yeah, you can switch to Linux, because if you don't care about dual booting and you decide that you're gonna use Linux as your primary and personal OS, but without leaving Windows, because maybe you need Windows to run some video games that doesn't work on Linux and things like that. Well, yeah, if you're perfectly fine dual booting, yes, you should switch to Linux. uh, so should you switch to Linux if you want to use Affinity products? No, you should not switch to Linux. Affinity products works under Linux, but they work under a specific version of Wine, which I think it's called Elemental Warrior, and it really doesn't perform well. I mean, it sucks. So instead of having Affinity products working under Linux using a specific version of Wine that you have to compile, it's better to just not use Affinity products and instead use something like GIMP or Krita, things like that. But if you need to use Affinity products, no, you should not switch to Linux. Uh, just like Adobe, no, Adobe users shouldn't switch to Linux. Now, are you a person that likes to have a free and open source operating system that you can have 100% control uh, control of it, and you can like, would you like to have an operating system that doesn't spy on you, and would you like to uh, have like a lot of options to customize your desktop environment, and you know uh, would you like to get away from big tech and its main services, and you you're not really a big like gamer. I mean, maybe you like to play some video games. uh, Maybe you don't care about having exactly like uh, like 1000 frames per second, but you're totally fine having 100 frames per second or 300 frames per second, because yeah, Linux can do that. uh, but you also care a lot more about your freedom, and using an operating system that is free and open source, and that you can control 100%, and you can control totally what you install and whatnot. It's something that is not bloated and actually works just fine. uh, yeah, you can switch to Linux. Are you a person that uh, don't like to use the terminal? Yes, you can switch to Linux. Nowadays, like when you need to use the terminal in Linux, is basically could be because of the same reasons that you will need the terminal also in Windows or in Mac OS. So in every operating system, you will need to use the terminal at a certain point. But Linux is not this kind of monster that you need to, oh my god, prepare because you will need to use the terminal. No, I don't think so. I mean, of course, maybe you should learn a little bit the terminal because it's gonna make your life easier. But should you I mean, you really need the terminal? No, you don't need the terminal. I mean, you're totally fine. So yeah, I just give you a couple reasons, valid points. Just maybe if you want to switch to Linux, that can help you out. Thank you.